That's one of the reasons why it's an honor for me to be here to pay tribute to you educators. Because on a daily basis, you validate that what goes around comes around. My mentor, Zig Ziglar, always said, you can get anything in this life that you want if you're just willing to help enough other people get what they want. How could I possibly repay Mr. Croft for all the time and effort that he put into helping me become a responsible young man? You see, it turns out that Mr. Croft attended every one of my football games and every one of my basketball games and a few of my baseball games. And he and I had already arranged, as a captain of the team, I would be doing pre-game warm-ups, and we arranged that he would be at that specific spot on the field so that when I finally got to a moment where there was a break in the action, we got eye contact, we had our little secret sign and our secret wave, and then I would get into the game. And now that we're adults, it turns out Mr. Croft wasn't even a sports fan. He didn't really enjoy football or basketball or baseball. He was a Dan fan. He was a Brian Thurgood fan. He was a Brad Morris fan. He was always there for us. How could we possibly repay the Mr. Crofts, the Mrs. Crofts, the Miss Crofts in our lives? Well, may I share a story? I played football for 13 years and I was hurt and I was paralyzed and I recovered and I started to speak because of that story. And after a few years, I decided it was time for me to volunteer and give back to this wonderful sport that had helped me become the best man that I could possibly be. I love football. And so I volunteered to be a Little League football coach in the Pop Warner League. And they assigned me the 13-year-olds. And it turns out when I showed up to the first day of practice, none of them had ever played football before. So I decided to line them up into two equal lines and have them start going out for passes. I could throw them the ball to see who could catch, who could run, who could throw, trying to formulate a team in my own mind. 2.5 days into practice, out on the field walks this tall, skinny little kid straight from class. He had on a polo shirt and some jeans, way skinny, reminded me of myself back in the day. He comes up to me and he says, "Coach." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm here to play football." I said, "Well, don't you want to go home and change your clothes?" He's still out on loafers. He goes, "Coach, I've already missed 2 days of practice and I don't want to miss any more. Is it okay if I stay?" I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. I said, "Get in line." Comes time for him to go out for his first pass. I drop back. I threw the ball the best I could, hit him square in the face. He runs over, picks up that ball, runs it back to me, hands it to me in my chest, and gets back in the other line. I'm like, whoa. Comes time for him to go out for his second pass. I drop back, threw this perfect spiral, hit him square on the other side of the head. Now his nose starts to bleed and his lip starts to swell up. He runs over, picks up that bobbling ball, runs it back to me, slams it to me in my chest, gets back in the line. I'm like, this kid's amazing. Comes time for him to go out for his third pass. I had to get him the ball. I had to throw a little higher floater ball that he could run under. And sure enough, I overthrew the kid and he dives for the ball. He can't catch a cold, let alone a football, and he slides through the grassy, muddy, mucky water. But he grabs that ball, races it back to me, slaps it into my chest, and gets back in the line. I thought, man, I better have a talk with this kid before he kills himself. Pulled him out of line, kept the drill going, gave the ball to another young man to keep throwing the passes. And I said, "Hey, buddy, can we have a talk?" He goes, "Yeah, coach." I said, "Why are you out here? Does your dad want you to be a football star? Did your friends talk you into it? Or are you out here for the girls?" I'll never forget his answer. He looks me square in the eyes. His lips so intense. He's like, "Coach, no, I'm out here because I want to play football." And he says, "And I promise if you'll help me, I know I can do it." Whoa. I said, "Well, what's your name?" He said, "Tommy Croft." I said, "Does your dad teach anthropology at East High School?" He says, "Yeah, I think so." I said, "Get back in line." Here was my chance to be a Croft to a Croft. Here was my chance to give something back that I'd been taking out for so many years. Here was my chance to actually live the cliche, what goes around comes around, that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I honor you, educators. Thank God we have individuals who are willing to give up the big paychecks in the corporate arena to teach us what we need to know to make our dreams come true. I honor you and repeat how I began. Yes, in fact, teaching is the profession that makes all other professions possible. Thank you so much for your service.